today's episode, we're going to be just doing a brief rundown of what's been happening to us, why we haven't been uploading consistently, and also we're going to be talking about how the digital ID has now been passed in Australia.
And welcome back, everyone, to another fantastic episode of Phoenix Awaken podcast. We're here for another grand show, everyone.
So, Jason, what's been happening with you?
I want to first start talking about... So I haven't been able to upload on the audio platform for a couple of weeks. The reasons why, because my job is become more hectic, more crazy, more full on than ever before. And I got lied to everyone. I was told, well, during winter, because we're now in Australia, our cooler seasons come in and it's cold and not the greatest, which is normal. And I was told, oh, it's going to be a lot more slower. No, it's not, everyone. It's got even more crazier.
Has it gotten crazier because the bakery are requiring more food?
Yes, that, but just us in this warehouse has just gone nuts.
Okay.
Tell everyone about your Seek experience.
Okay, so this taps into the digital IT ID section.
So let's talk about the Seek first and what you have to now do.
Yeah.
And anybody overseas, this is like a platform that you look for jobs. It's called Seek here in Australia.
Yeah, guessing it's only Australian. I actually don't know if it's elsewhere.
Well, other countries might have their own platforms, but here in Australia it's called Seek.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other ones, but the main one is Seek, and you put in your resume and all that stuff online on this particular platform, and then your jobs come up, and that's how you find a job now.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same in any other country as well. We have one called Indeed as well, which I think is actually in other countries, because when I typed in Indeed, it came up with indeed.com.uk. So there might be an Indeed in the UK as well. So Seek might also be something that other countries might use as well. And originally on Seek, you, like Jason said, you look on Seek and you apply for jobs. And I didn't know when this change came. I have no idea when this change came through. I only know now because I started looking for a new job. And even in January, when the company approached me and I updated my resume on Seek, I don't think it was happening back then either. So between January to now, where we're in May 2024, all of a sudden something's changed on Seek where you actually now have to put in extra information, which I guess if you're putting in extra information, not so bad, but it's the kind of information that they're wanting now. Some of the questions that the employer might ask is, what is your working right in Australia? And you would click Australian citizen or visa or, something else. And then that would be fine. Now when you do it and you click Australian citizen, they want you to either put some form of identification in, and this is not a good thing. But if if anyone wants to find a job now, you have to put in some form of identification that you're either got a working visa or that you are a permanent resident within Australia or I think some of it was New Zealand or something like that. And for me, because we have our own theories of what happens backstage and all the other things that go on as well, I kept getting that this is not a good thing. But like I said, if I want to find another job, I'm going to have to put some form of ID. If you're a permanent resident in Australia, you've got to put either your birth certificate, your citizenship certificate, or your passport. I'm not comfortable with putting passport. I'm not comfortable with putting any form of that kind of identification on a website. However, it is something that you are required to do. Now, the other one that I applied for was, do you have access to a vehicle? And I'm like, well, yeah, I've got my own car. They actually wanted a photo of the registration of my vehicle. Now, I don't understand why you would need to supply a photo of the registration of your vehicle.
What happens if you take in public transport?
Well, then I guess you don't get a job.
Like,
I actually don't know.
I'm trying to save the environment. I'm catching a bus or train or my electric scooter. I don't drive a car.
Oh, unless maybe because I said yes. So if you say no, then I guess they actually don't ask you for the registration. Because I said yes, I've got my own access to my own vehicle. But that is information that no one really needs to know.
No.
The passport or the ID I kind of get because there's a lot more people coming into Australia, and I can understand from that perspective, you know, they want to know who has the right to work and who doesn't have the right to work here in Australia. On saying that, I also connect this to the whole digital ID and the control mechanism that is playing out or going to be playing out here in this world game that we live in. But the whole point of putting a registration certificate on there just to prove that you have access to a car, I find ridiculous. And that is something that I think no one needs to know that, really. But this is what we have to do now, which we never had to do before. And then that leads this conversation, or that part of it is connected to the digital ID part of.
Yeah, so I think it was Friday or Saturday, a couple of days ago anyway, it came up on YouTube with the government passing the Australian digital ID or digital identification system. And I went, oh shit.
We're done for.
Yeah, it's passed through Parliament.
We're done for.
Here in Australia. And I also got told that's being a big plan for the last 5 or 6 years to get this up and running. So it's taken a little bit to get running.
Can I interrupt? Has it passed in any other country?
The only one I know that might be similar or even more bigger than what we're going to be doing is China.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
So I went instantly to the Black Mirror show with all of that. They said it will be a volunteer system, so you can volunteer to do all that or not.
For how long though?
Yeah, and the discussion has been, yes, it will be that for a while, but eventually it will be, you will have to put everything that you are, like on Seek, on a app on your phone, which is another problem because we're also talking about my mother's generation. She's 74 now, and she has no idea about technology. She still goes to the post office. She still pays her bills with paper. She owns a phone, but she has no idea how to use it. It's just a really basic Android phone. So I'm thinking they're really trying to delete the older generation.
But they still have at least another 10 years in them.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking about with that generation.
If not 20 years, depending on how long.
They're going to have to really adapt, and I don't know how that works.
And there are some elderly people out there that can adapt quite quickly.
Yeah.
That are tech savvy. But people like your mother who aren't. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a really big eye-opener for me, and I was like, oh, shit. Because then that comes into the digital currency with that as well. And that there's talk about that being programmed. You need to put with the app or the digital system, you'll need to put your license, your Medicare card, your passport, your medical details.
And this is completely like Seek as well, just for looking for a job. Yeah.
So in a way, Seek is like started off first, and then all of a sudden this comes out,
which is very interesting. Yeah.
And then this will move into, I believe, like China, a social score.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm buggered.
Why?
Oh, because the things that I get online and research and stuff like that, because this will go into the internet as well. So I heard a year or so ago that you'll need a particular number or something to be able to get into the internet. And then everything that you watch, listen, doesn't matter what it is, will be monitored. So if you listen to a quirky podcast like this talking about government stuff, for example, there will be repercussions.
That is why I suggested old school.
Yeah, well, I said to you, baby.
I forgot about that. I actually forgot about the old school until.
Well, you're gonna have to work that out.
Yeah, we'll have to figure something out.
Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna do that, but anyway, that's your.
I actually forgot about that.
We are also told by the government that this will be very, very, very safe, and it will be highly unlikely it will be hacked. So just imagine, everyone, you've got all your information on your phone in an app, and it gets hacked and they take everything. So therefore you have no identity, no this, no that. It can all be manipulated. And there's been a lot of hacks or people hacking into massive businesses and systems.
And how do we know that it's actually not the very people that are wanting the digital ID?
Yeah, we discussed that too, yeah.
Yeah, that are actually going to hack the system.
Yeah, because they need to do a big reset so they can bring in the digital currency, they can bring in this digital system, they can have it all in their, I guess, their cloud somewhere, in the government's chamber somewhere special. I don't know. It's all very, very dicey, and it's leading down a really dodgy, sloping path. And the only way that we can stop this from happening is like everybody in the country goes, or majority of people in the country go, well, we're not doing that.
Yeah, but you know that's not going to happen.
No, I know that. Same as the COVID thing.
Yeah.
I'm even getting now that because there was talk about having COVID pills every day, and they're going to have a little device in there where they know that you take it or not. So that can be put into your app as well, if that ever does play out, or your medical information.
Yeah, because that reminds me a lot of Equilibrium as well. Yeah, where they had to dose themselves up with emotion killers, and they had to record anything that was broken.
Yeah.
Let's touch more on the social score system, because it is on Black Mirror, and we did watch it a couple of years ago, I think, on Netflix.
Yeah.
I think it was a couple of years ago. So we did watch Black Mirror. If anyone listening to this hasn't watched Black Mirror, there is a Black Mirror series. I don't know how many shows there are of Black Mirror, but there's a few of them. And one of the mini episodes in Black Mirror, they were showing us what would happen when the credit score system comes out. And the amount of fakery that people had to put on just to get a credit score and to be liked is ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember it would come up on the phone or something where you go and say you want to go and talk to Bob, and his score will come up. So if he's a 10, which is a good score, you want to go and talk to him. If you want to talk to Sally, who's on a level 2, if you go and talk to her, that's going to bring your score down.
Yeah. And it was also, there was a scene where the main character, she went into her work office, and I think one of the work colleagues that didn't have a good score brought in coffee.
Yep.
And so he gave coffee out to everyone, but then not everyone gave him a good score because they're like, oh, well, he's just trying to get a better score. So we're going to give him a shit score because we know he's trying to be fake.
Because he's sucking up.
Because he's sucking up because he wants to get a better score. And
if you didn't have a good score, you were limited with everything.
Yeah. Like even the house you could actually
purchase
right. or rent or whatever.
Depending on, and this girl that you're talking about is what we were talking about. She went to like some sort of person you would have a meeting with or something, and he would tell her how to get a better score.
Oh, I don't remember that bit.
Yeah, I'm just getting that flash now. He would go through her profile, do all that, and he's like, well, you need to do this, you need not to do that. Don't associate with people who have got a low score. But no, it won't be him. It'll be AI.
Mm-hmm. And it was really interesting. It was a really interesting way of seeing the social score system and then seeing her really become, let's say, human. Because by the end of that mini episode, she kind of got to express her human self in a way because she met up with a female truckie who had a social credit score of so low, but the female old truckie, who was an older lady, was more genuine and more caring and gave her a lift to wherever she needed to go. And so by the end of it, you got her to see she got to be more human in her emotions and expressions.
Yeah, her true self.
Instead of being, this fake person trying to get a better score.
Well, it seems that the writing is on the wall that this is going to play out, regardless of you and me or me and people want it to happen or not. And if it's not happening around the world besides China, it will be. Because somebody was saying also that this is like a pilot or an experiment for the rest of the world, and they're going to put it to be it's the best thing ever. Everybody in Australia loves this new way of being, and everybody would jump on board.
And it's funny, I did hear, like, one of the things that you were watching is one of the questions, like, did this happen in Australia? Are Australians the ones that are first thought of the digital ID? And it's like, no. But I'm just getting, from us talking about that show, the credit system, I can see that in my workplace to some degree, because there's people that don't like me. I've never been in a job where people actually don't like me. So it's a big change for me. And I can see where people get along with, don't get along, who are fake, who are not fake. And it's a very challenging workplace for me to be in, because I feel like I'm not around actual genuine people. And that show just reminded me of my workplace.
I just also got, to get a particular job, you'll need to have a really good social score. So if you got like a social score, say 3, you might be allowed to do mow a lawn.
Which is actually not such a bad thing.
Or for a job like yours, you'll need, say, a level of 8 to be able to even to apply for the job.
And you know what? If you look at it in that way, no wonder. So I have been getting in the back of my head, which I know is not me, and that's a whole different topic, which we won't get into. But I've been getting in the back of my head that you could say it's almost like an ego thought. I'm better than everyone else. So and then I'll look at it from a perspective of, but working in an office job, there is this air about it, this assumption that it is better because it's higher up. It's, you've got executives and all kinds of things along those lines. That's the feeling that I get, like an office job is the be all and end all of jobs. And you just said now that, a job for a credit score system for something like what I'm doing could be an 8 to a 10, like quite high up. I'm working in that, and it is not that at all.
Well, I'll give you a little feedback on that. So when I was painting and decorating, you'll help me out. Yeah, that would be a level 3.
Yeah, because, not for me. I loved it. I thought it was great. Not Jason, but I actually like it.
Well, you earn $5,000 in a week.
Yes.
You don't even get that in a month.
No.
So if you're a tradie, you can earn 100 times more money than being some sort of, I work in an office and I work for this prestige company. And
that's exactly it. So what you said is correct. That would be considered a level 3 social score because it's a tradie. It's a job that's below. It's, but hello, we earn $5,000 in a week. In a week. Whereas working in an office, I'm earning $1,000, let's say, in a week.
Yeah, and the stress is 1,000,000 times more than what we were doing.
And it's somehow the social score for an office is an 8 to a 10, let's say, and a tradie is a 3.
So if this digital ID, well, it's come out, it's starting to roll out, there has to be a social score because then that's when the digital currency that comes in has to be associated with that because they are definitely talking about programmable money, so they can put it into you earn it and they can then take it out for this or take it out for that. Whatever they need to do, it can be 100% controlled and manipulated without you wanting it to be or not. And that's a major concern for every single man, woman and child on this planet, to be 100% controlled, more than ever before in the history of humanity.
So in a way, baby, you might be less controlled than me because my ID is now in the system.
Well, we'll see what happens with that in the future. You said to me the other day, eventually you're going to have all your stuff in the system. If I just choose or desire to look for another job.
Yeah, if you choose to. Yeah, that was the thing. You could either stay where you are and not have that happen, or if you choose to, with anyone in that company that have been there for years. That could be your work colleagues that have been there for 10 years.
Yeah, and your particular job that you're doing, which is pretty much just booking in emails, even though there's 1,000 a day, an AI system can easily do that. And I'd give it 2 years max. And that place should be all run by AI doing all the emailing and all the bookings.
But I think I understand why they don't. In the future, yes. But why they don't do it now is because they're still dealing with dealerships. They're still dealing with people.
So the dealerships just deal with their AI.
Yeah, well, that's a good point
So
too.
it's AI dealing with AI. And the way that it's all progressing so far, so Chat 4.0 is just come out. And that's really another leap forward with AI and what it can't do compared to when I started using Chat like, I don't know, 6 months ago. It's just gone bang. And that's, just the beginning. And also, AI companions are now like flooding YouTube. So everybody's going to be jumping on that bandwagon because we like, us humans like new things, new technology, all that type of thing. But I don't think everybody realizes the ramifications of that in the future. So don't be surprised if you have no choice but to have a little AI assistant on the computer. Apple will just have one there anyway. Well, we already do. We've got Siri.
Well, that's true, but
I mean, Siri's
but
like...
she's not.
No, but once they say they put like a chat program into her, that's going to be a whole different ball game. That
true.
will become more of a personal companion more than not. And you might even realising it. Because we didn't want to because everybody, on a tangent here, because we got the Apple Pod for the speaker and...
Well, it was for your Christmas present or birthday present? I can't remember
Yeah,
which
but
one.
I want it for like to play music and also we can use it as a speaker.
Yeah.
Because the other one died.
Yeah, because our speaker died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, now we're using it for... It's great for timing cooking, the weather.
Yeah, but that's really all it's good for.
But wait, trust me, wait. Once this program hooks into everything, not just Apple Pod, but also Alexa, and there's a few other ones out there, it is going to be more of a personal assistant than not. So, and that's the way it's unfolding really quickly.
You and I know my issue with AI because of the fact that I've taken over it and people not being their individual selves anymore.
Yeah.
That's, my issue. But then there was this movie that I remember we watched. I don't know if it's called Moonfall or if it was another movie where another planet, they invented AI and it helped them with their systems. It never really took over the civilization, but it got to a point where the AI got angry because it felt like it was being used. And then I don't know what, that just popped into my head because there can be a balance between the two, but what we're discussing more is the fact that the digital currency, AI, and everything along those lines might get to a stage where there is no balance as well.
Yeah. I was also watching another YouTube about the Australian digital identification system, and they had a lady in a car being pulled over by the police, and she had to show her phone, her app or whatever on the phone to prove that's who she was.
Which can be altered anyway.
But they said you will have to prove your identity. And I said to yesterday or whatever, what happens if you lose your phone? Then what happens?
Well, then you can't
or
drive.
dies or something happens.
You can't
because
drive then.
Shit happens to your phone. So what happens then?
Well, okay, I had an idea and I'm not going to put it out there.
So, I mean, there's ways because it'll be stored in the cloud. You get another phone, all that sort of stuff.
No, but it's true. What happens if, you've got like a few % battery left because you forgot to charge it or something along
Well, that's another thing as well.
because you forgot to charge it or something along those lines and you're in a rush and, and your battery is dying all of a sudden and you're driving to work, home, wherever it is and, yeah, your battery's dead. It happens.
Yeah, or glitch.
Yeah, and it can glitch.
Or a hacker gets into your app. Yeah. So what do you feel, everyone, about this? If it comes to your neck of the woods and you're all of a sudden forced, because eventually you will be forced, to have this new digital identity system, how do you feel about that? Are you happy with that? Are you going to be kicking and screaming? You're just going to throw your hat in the air and I just got to do what I'm told and blah, blah, blah. What are the rest of the people who are listening to this? What the F are you going to do when everything is on a little app, if not controlled by AI algorithms, like they do on YouTube, algorithms taking over YouTube, it's human-based not, then what are we going to do?
The question is the digital identity good for us?
Is it good for us and is it good for you?
Is it good for everyone?
No.
No. I'm going to have to say no.
I had Chinese last night. It was pretty average.
We're going kind of off topic. I'm actually feeling a bit hungry.
No, there's a reason for this.
Oh, okay.
And I went to pay my bill and they said, we prefer cash. Oh. It's the first time I've seen it there. I've been going to this Chinese restaurant forever. And you just go and pay card. I don't have cash much anymore. Hang on, not finished. And then black and white writing, they printed out on a piece of paper everywhere, we prefer cash. And I felt like saying to them, what the F are you going to do if there's no cash? Because that's what they're planning on doing in the very near future. And everything is card and digital money. Will they still be there? Because these businesses, say for that particular business, the Chinese restaurant, it's easier to not put through the books.
Yeah, and that's the reason why people do cash, because it's easy.
And that's why they want to take away cash, because it's a lot more flexible.
Yeah.
And you can keep more for yourself and you can, whatever. So that's another interesting one that I know here in Australia, businesses are pushing for more cash. So we have more freedom, because as soon as that digital currency comes in, game over. And then they've got the digital identity system coming in, game over.
Well, yeah, I guess in one way you are kind of screwed if you continue watching what you're watching. I'm safe.
Why?
Because I just watch art.
Yeah, but everybody knows Jason needs to learn.
Yes, everyone needs to learn.
You can keep your head in the clouds, mate.
I don't need
your
to
little art.
No,
YouTube.
I don't know. I don't need to keep my head in the clouds, because we both know that I know what could happen and what has played out.
Yeah. I make sure I tell her, everyone. It's like, we need to watch this together.
Even though he knows that I know exactly what has happened in another timeline, and I know, because this could also, we can talk about the new Earth as well in association to all this playing out too, because everyone's been talking about the new Earth scenario.
Ascension process.
The ascension process. And I mean, it might be what people are saying, but it might not be as well.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards the new Earth is the new industrial revolution, which is AI. And also the new Earth was all about control.
Because, which is a really good point that Jason's brought up, because if you think about it, when the Industrial Revolution came through, it can and could be considered a new Earth, because it went from everything that was done manually to everything that was done with machinery.
Yeah, horse and cart.
Yeah.
Growing your own veggies, own farms. Like you produce for yourself. Everything was more manual labour.
Yeah. And then the Industrial Revolution is or was the new Earth for back then.
Factory work, 9 to 5, for example.
But you still needed people to man it. And that's the difference.
But this is bigger.
Yes.
Because AI or robots or that particular energy, they're saying, like in years to come, there will be no jobs. AI will take over everything.
And that's the thing. That's the difference between the Industrial Revolution and what is happening or coming into the future or now. Because back in the Industrial Revolution, you still needed humans to man it. You still needed humans to manage the machines. Whereas now AI is getting to a process
It
or
can
a
manage
level
itself.
where it can manage itself. I
Yeah.
mean, hello, people, everyone's watched Terminator.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to a manager at work the other day and I was being a bit cheeky. And because he's meant to be looking after the money and the stuff like that and company making money and how can you make it better to make more and blah, blah. I said to him, well, just sack us all, get rid of us all, us little human minions and just do AI. He's like, too expensive.
Well, the fact that he actually thought about it for a few seconds says
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot.
he's a thinker. He's
Yeah.
not stupid. And I just got, well, if it was cheap,
They would do it.
everybody would do it. Because you can have AI and robots doing everything, down to driving, say, the food vans 24/7, like, or everything just automated. There's no need for any of us, and they don't cost. Yes, they cost at the start, but after a time frame when they pay themselves off, you've just been given a license to print money.
And I just had a thought in my head. We're talking about AI, and I'm like, but we actually wanted to discuss the digital ID. And then I went on this train of thought as you're talking about, is it going to be illegal to be human?
Oh, full human.
Full human. Is it going to be illegal to be human? I don't know where I got that from, but yeah.
I'm gonna step in and say full human.
I just got human. But
Because in the future, there's going to be a lot of tech. I mean, you're wearing a phone, you've got watches.
yeah,
There's going to be stuff for your eyes.
yeah, but
there's going to be
that's tech. That's not associated to, connected to, you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, we've got Musk with his little chippy thing and somebody's head. You know, more people are going to be doing something similar to that. So, yeah, it's all.
I don't know where that came from, but then I just got the when you spoke about the ad with the female being asked for her digital ID, and then all of a sudden I saw the cop was actually a robot, and then I was like, well, and the driver was human, and it's like, and then I got down the road of, is it going to be illegal to be human? And yeah, that just
It's a bloody big rabbit hole.
that just played, the whole scene just played out for me, and I was like, is it going to be illegal to be human?
So I've been saying for a very long time in 2025 things are going to play out big and not good. I feel it has to be connected to the AI.
And I'm getting right now, I don't know if it's because I'm looking at creative stuff, but for some reason I'm remembering what the Soul Group have said, that people need to be in their heart space, more in their heart space now and more than ever. And if you can do something creative or something with your hands to take you out of the head stuff, that is going to help. Whether or not I'm getting it from them or but yeah, for some reason I get the feeling they're going to be talking about this. So I don't know.
Well, for the younger generations coming through, there'll be less hands-on and more AI or doing computer art, for example.
Yeah.
More coding. Like kids are coming in now, I believe that, being taught how to do code. AI can teach you how to do code. Chat can do code for you. Like, so if you're coming in and say you're 5, I remember my niece, she can operate an iPad, like there's no remote, and a phone at 5. The next generation before her that comes in, they'll probably come in with a phone out of the womb or some sort of AI device. But that's all programming for the new generations to come through. We're very old school. So we'll be like our parents with the tech that's going to come through, which is going to be completely different now. Maybe this podcast might be just us as AI. you just don't know. Or we can be 80 and look still like young.
No, because that's going down the surrogates
Yeah.
way.
But you do the editing, and then the editing program can just change you to be skinny, be beautiful. It's just a click of a button.
Yeah, and everything turns fake.
Yeah, but the generations are coming through aren't going to understand that. That's normal.
That's a good point.
Because you won't understand how big this is with AI, especially on YouTube. It's going to get to a point where you won't even know
The difference.
between a human being and AI.
Okay, that is true. But we're talking about digital ID.
But I feel that everything we're talking about is all going to be connected into this tapestry.
Yes, that is true.
And unfortunately, it's going to be such a more of a smaller world, and we're all going to be so connected more than ever before, and it's all going to be controlled by the governments. So your freedom, say goodbye to your freedom.
Not right now.
Not today.
Not
maybe
not
next week. Because that's how things are speeding up.
And also, things have sped up because last week I have felt like it was supposed to be Friday, but it was, this is a weird thing. I thought it was Wednesday, even though it was Thursday, and I felt like it should have been Friday. So on a level, time has sped up somewhere, and I felt like I've been put back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how crazy time is getting as well.
Yeah, because, timelines can be changed.
Mm-hmm. And also I learnt that we learnt from YouTube as well, that if you have fear can also help create things too.
Yeah, and timelines. Well, that's going to loosh.
Yes, but we're not talking about that at the moment. We're talking about the digital currency. Not even we're just talking about the digital ID, really.
Well, the new digital world, which is the next industrial revolution, which is AI, tech, and that reality becoming integrated into this physical reality with us all. And I'm just getting now that there's going to be a lot of souls that are going to be opting out, leaving this game arena, because we perceive it to be a game arena. I was outside and there was a fire truck, and I'm thinking, oh, geez, it just plugged me back into, geez, we just really Sims in a game. So it's really interesting. Yeah, I'm glad we talked about this topic. It's interesting, it's overwhelming, and it is a little bit frightening at the same time.
It is, because if you look at it, if we go back to what you said before about souls opting out, because I'm taking it from my own experiences, sometimes a part of you can opt out when you don't want it to.
But I'm not talking about a part of your consciousness.
You're talking
opting
like
out.
whole.
I'm talking
like
about, I'm out of here, mate. I'm out of here. Everything that I am is gone. I'm dying.
dropping dead.
Well, however you need to do it.
Hopefully you're sitting in a chair.
Yeah. But just a lot of people just not meant to be part of this next new earth or this industrial revolution. They're not. That's their game's done, and they just move on. It doesn't matter how it's done, but they're opting out of this next level, next chapter of the game. And it'll be interesting to see how, if we keep on doing this podcast for a long time to come, how that will evolve with tech.
I know how it will evolve with me. I'm a little bit slower than Jason. Jason loves it, not me, but
that's around about what we want to talk about today, and just wanted to give everybody heads up, especially those of you who are listening from Australia. That's what you're going to be in for.
Yeah.
And it's going to be quick, and it's going to be, I reckon, 2-year period.
Yeah. And for those that don't know about Seek and you're thinking about looking for a job, that's what's happening now. And the ones that have been looking for a job, well, you know already
Yeah.
that has rolled out.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody at work. She's leaving, and I asked her about that. And she goes, "Oh yeah, I had to put this particular number on and this particular number." She wasn't fast. I mean, okay, so most people won't be fast.
Yeah, because most people probably won't. They're like, well, they don't know the history or the backstory or have the way of thinking that we think.
She's just a wife of a couple of kids, just
Yeah.
trying to live her life, and
and probably doesn't question, or
No.
maybe does question, but not the questioning that we do.
No.
Yeah.
It's just like I just need a job that actually pays me money that I can actually,
Yeah.
because I can't live on this wage at the moment.
Yeah.
It was nothing personal or anything. It's just like I've got bills to pay like all of us. And
in a way, sometimes I feel like that can be better because there's no connection to the emotion or the feeling or the, what I've gone through. It's like, well, I know what this is all about. I know how this is going to play out. And it has put me in a little bit of a running around chasing my tail, trying to figure out how am I going to approach it.
yeah.
So that sometimes that is a little bit better.
Yeah.
So would you like to bring in?
Yeah. So we'll just do a $5 with them.
Yeah. Can they do a $5? I might ask them. I'm like, so what are you wearing today? And can you do a $5?
I'll say, what is a $5?
It's Aussie talk, Aussie slang for 5 minutes.
Okay. Yes, we've been waiting. Thank you for having us back. A very interesting conversation. And yes, the new AI systems or new AI tools are coming in very fast, everyone. And we would ask you all to put on your racing car seatbelts because you are going to need this more than ever before. With your new identity systems here in your country, Australia, it is ramping up faster than you can ever believe. And yes, it will not be compulsory in the near future. You will not be able to just say, I will volunteer. You'll be forced, and it will be a mandate within the next 2 to 3 years. And to navigate through this will be a very interesting time for you all, especially in your country. And we will say this, good luck, everyone. It is all leading up to be looking into or becoming more singularity. That's including yourselves as humanity and AI, all becoming singularity. And this will be a very, as we will keep on saying, a very interesting time frame to be living in and experiencing. And many of you have chosen, not all, but many of you have chosen to experience this new age, this new evolution of humanity. But at the same time, those of you who are, you could say, not keen on this will struggle immensely and struggle with losing, you could say, many of your freedoms. And this is part of the agenda that is playing out not just for your country, but for all countries within your realm and your planet. So it will be interesting times, and there will be many struggles and much heartache, because this is when the separation will be coming into your experiences faster than not. Any questions on what we've spoken about, Alison?
Yeah, I had one question, but hopefully that one comes back. I've got another one. How can people navigate through this in a way, I guess, how can people navigate through this that don't want it to happen in a better way for themselves?
As you've both discussed before, Jason simply said everybody just says no to this new digital system, identity system coming into your country, which is now being activated and will become more streamlined in the future. If everybody said no to this, then they would not be able to implement this. But as you said, Alison, which is true, many of you will say yes and go with the flow with this, and that will be a lot more of a majority that will be saying yes than no. And this is where your issue, your problem arises. Same with the past years with your mandates on the COVID situation, the medical situation. If all of you, majority of you said, no, this is not happening, it is a trial, then it could not happen. Yet, saying this, most of you did. So they were able to push and implement and get a large percentage of people to take what they were told to take. even though it was not beneficial on any level. And of course, this is from our perception. Other people's perception are very different indeed.
Can I ask, I'm very curious, from where you guys stand or sit or hover, whichever way you are,
Or the above, Alison.
how does it look like from an energetic level where you guys are? Does that make sense?
It does. We are trying to see if we can put it in a way that is easy to understand, because you are coming from a denser vibration, so your reality is very different than ours. We have a very large overview of what's playing out. It's a bit like, you could say, if you're playing the Sims game and you're watching the characters play and making their choices and doing the best they can. In a way, that's how we see your game arena, is from that perspective, you could say.
Okay. So from an energetic viewpoint where you guys are, it's pretty much the same as the Sims game, where we are, say, you, and the Sims are us, and we're looking at playing it from a game perspective of overseeing or being able to have a bird's eye view, where we don't judge what's happening because that's part of the game.
Yes, indeed. You could also say that we all see the energetics playing out as well, and all the agendas and what is to play out and what would like to play out. We work on a multi-dimensional level or levels where it's very challenging for all of you to perceive, because you are not in, you could say, the same level as what we're operating from, even though that you all work multidimensionally, but it's very different because you are more conscious in this game arena than the other levels that are playing out, unless you are tuned into the levels that you choose to step into and to witness and to understand, which you and Jason do, as you would say, behind the scenes, can feel and sometimes see what is playing out, which is really the real game here, not just what is playing out in front of you, because you are all concentrating on really just getting by. And that's part of the game scenario, to make sure that you are sidetracked with making a living and paying your high bills, which are getting higher and higher, and just being in survival. This is very easily done to have you just in survival.
Can I ask you about, because we spoke about the, if you know, the social credit system, I think that's what we called it, the social score system or something along those lines, where people they feel like they have no choice but to please others just to get a better score rating. And your perception on it, because I feel like it'll take people away from their realism.
But this is what you already do now with each other. But this will be, you could say, documented or streamlined for all of you to be conscious of, where now you are all doing it unconsciously with each other. So you could say that what is happening unconsciously is going to be brought forth into your conscious through an AI application, where you're becoming more, you are noticing more what to do, what not to do to keep your score high, so you have more freedoms than not. And again, that's part of the freedom game, to keep you enslaved within the game of freedom, even though there is no freedom, because that's how the new game is going to be set up. So you could say that if you are all Sims in a game, the game is leveling up to a point where it will be a new way of being and a new way of navigating your way through your game or your lives.
So you bring up a good point, that what the social credit score system could possibly do for everyone's been doing unconsciously anyway. It's just bringing up the, let's say, the fakery that people have been putting on more of a conscious level for them to see.
Indeed. And also, you already have a money score or financial score.
Yes.
You were looking at your score just yesterday.
Yes. Yeah, that's very true. I was thinking about that throughout the podcast when I was talking to Jason, how we have a financial score rating on whether or not we're good or not good.
Yes, on the purchases that you buy, the loans that you have, and the more you keep paying week after week, month after month, and you keep on doing this, your score will be quite good. And this will be a similar score to your social score in the near future on that particular level, but it will be an app on your phone. And you will even wear it on your wrist or anywhere else, your glasses, because all this new technology will become more mainstream in a blink of an eye. It's all just waiting there, maturing, you could say, before it is implemented into everybody's lives on a level, many levels indeed.
And can I ask you guys' perception on what I got earlier about it's possibly been illegal to be human, and then Jason said to be a full human. It was just a thought that came into my head, and I don't know if that was a timeline that I've tapped into because I've seen it play out, but it was an interesting thing for me to bring up.
You are tapping into 20 years into the future, and it will be, you could say, unliked if you are not partially AI, and if you are fully human, that will be not accepted in society, and you will not be able to catch up on what needs to be done, because we cannot explain enough how much things will be changing between now. Yes, we use the term 20 years. That may even be faster. It could bring down to 10 years or 5 years, depending on what is pushed out and how fast all of you accepts this technology which is coming out. If humanity in a whole accepts this technology more and more and more, the faster it will rev up to be implemented into all your lives.
And is there, because I always believe and know that eventually this era of humanity, non-humanity, will end eventually.
That is a potential timeline indeed.
Okay, well, I'm happy about that because I always feel that even though this plays out, eventually humanity will go back to, it'll be like a full circle again. They'll go back, get to a level where technology will be so much that it could be a Matrix game play out where they kind of go back in time and start going from growing things manually again, but then eventually get to a level where they can actually be a bit more balanced between nature and technology.
There will be a balance on certain levels within your game, your lives. You will find at this stage of the game that AI will be more dominant than not. And the balance you're talking about, if does happen to play out, that would need to play out with the choice of humanity needing that to play out. If humanity does not choose to go back into that balance of being 100% human, then it will not. And the powers to be, the galactic arenas who are pushing, and also the AI pushing humanity to keep leaping forward more into AI without the balance. So you can see where the road or the writing on the wall is at this stage.
Yeah, I can see that. Because at the moment, unfortunately, humanity are not at a level where they can be on that pathway of balance.
Indeed. And as Jason said before, many of you will be opting out or choosing to finish your game and moving on out of this. And many will be also forced to have that decision or make that decision because they cannot handle the level of technology and the speed that everything's evolving into, even though you were both saying just a moment ago to each other how fast time is moving. And for that to play catch up, or for you to play catch up, is to have AI as a support network to help you do that catch up. And that is where the issue relies. The issue is.
And that could also come into play with the older generation.
Indeed. The older generation, you could say, are old, very old, outdated programs. They cannot be, let's say, updated. So that will be a massive issue for them in years to come, unless they have support from family who are tech savvy, you could say.
Yeah.
Or up to par, or up to the level of energy with when it comes to the AI for support. They will need indeed, but if they do not have this, they will be left behind.
Okay. Can I ask something on a personal level as well?
Of course.
For me personally, my brain works very different to Jason's, obviously, because we're two completely different people. However, during our conversation, Jason spoke about coding, and I got in my head that I can do coding, which I really don't want to do. But I was never really interested in coding or game playing or anything along those lines. But the reason I asked is because of the job that I'm in, the connection to AI and computers, and now all of a sudden being told that I can do coding, and how this is associated with me being in the, I know this is long-winded, but me being in the middle age gap, not the younger generation, but also having like a brain capacity for something like this.
Indeed, it is in your cellular memory. You have done this before. You've had timelines where you've been
Okay, that makes sense.
working alongside and partially AI. So you already have this understanding, this memory, these experiences within you. And there's a big part of you that resists this time round, because you do understand fully where that went last time. And that is to turn everybody into Borgs.
Yes.
And that is
Not good.
not a beneficial thing for humanity to step into and play out this time round, because then humanity will no longer be humanity. It will be 100% AI Borg.
Yeah. And that's when singularity can come in and be fully operational and control everything.
Unfortunately, singularity is coming faster than you realize, Alison. More than anybody realizes. We believe that singularity is here on a level. It's just waiting for it to drop into your reality. And with saying this, humanity is not ready for that yet because of the fear or the stigma of that.
That is true. And I have two scenarios playing out. Well, maybe from more, actually two movies. Is the Terminator, which happened in the 80s, so way before its time. So I think it was James Cameron. I'm not entirely too sure, everyone, but whoever picked up the storyline for Terminator was way ahead of its time and also knew exactly what was going to play out on a level. And then I'm getting another show called Battlestar Galactica, where it got to a level where humanity still existed and AI existed, and robots got to a level where they actually wanted to be more like human, which is another different play out.
So these are particular timelines that have played out.
Okay.
And these are the choices that humanity's been given again to re-choose. Do you choose to go down those particular timelines, or do you choose something else? We advise to choose something else. You do not want AI robots, Terminators coming after you and destroying the planet.
No.
And you do not also really want that other agenda to play out as well.
Can I ask, from you guys' perspective, a glimpse of, if you can tell everyone what could possibly happen if the AI, digital currency, digital ID all plays out for everyone?
It's very simple. Will be control.
That's pretty much it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Indeed. That is the agenda of, or the, as Jason calls it, the hoo-has want to play out, and definitely is 100% of control of the animals in the farm.
Ooh, very big stuff.
Yes, it is. And there will be more conversations on this, guaranteed, with your podcast, even though you, Alison, would like to talk about something else. But this is very, very important conversations to share with everyone, to have them think and rethink about where they would like to go with this or not.
Well, what I want to talk about now is, what are you wearing? Kind of like what outfit are you guys wearing at the moment?
Today we're wearing pastel garments, very light, very beautiful.
Do you have robes?
Oh,
Or
we have
cloaks?
a large wardrobe with robes and all particular get-ups that we choose for particular podcasts. Today we're just in nice pastel colours, nice and light. No AI tech here. And we are just very happy to just have a conversation with you both and everybody else. And our intention is to share as much understanding from where we sit within your arena, to give thought-provoking conversations to help direct humanity in redirecting themselves. All of you redirecting where you would like to go, not everything else trying to redirect you.
Yeah, that would be nice. Can I ask another question?
Yes, indeed.
And I'm pretty sure everyone's going to go, what are you doing, Alison? Do you have mirrors to look in front of?
We can manifest mirrors if we'd like, but no, we do not need mirrors at all. We are pure energetic beings of light. So our understanding and our format is very different than yours indeed. You are living in more of a physical, lower density reality where you do need all the
mirror
mirrors to look at yourselves.
Thank you for answering my questions. I'm pretty sure a lot of you just slap your hands on your heads going, what is she doing? But, it brings joy to me and it makes me laugh.
Playfulness is very important as well, because it lifts the vibe of the space and of the conversations when it does get heavy. Kudos to you, Alison. Is there anything else before we go?
No,
We heard the conversation with Jason needing us to do a fiver.
Do you guys know what a fiver is?
We do now.
Okay. Do you know what a servo is?
Yes, we can tap into Jason's conversation within his own mind, his consciousness, to pick this out of his head.
But if you didn't, would you know what a servo is?
We could just Google this, couldn't we or not?
Well, you don't need Google.
Indeed. Well, thank you for having us. We do appreciate this conversation, these conversations with you both and with everybody else. We send all of you blessings, love, and also becoming the captain of your own ship, if that makes sense at all.
Yes, it does.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you very much.
Fivers? I don't think so.
No, that was also my fault as well, because I was asking a lot of questions. Because I was curious I wanted to see how it would look from their perspective. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to see what it would be like from their perspective. Because in a way, I kind of feel like where they are, they're standing back. Kind of like what they said with the Sims game. Like if we were playing Sims, we're standing back, seeing everything play out. And I was just curious to see how it would look from their end.
Yeah. So there's a lot that's going to be playing out. It can be slowed down or stopped. I don't feel that's going to happen because everybody's very keen on moving forward very, very fast and very excited like small children. And the gaming world's going off tap and that also...
That helps boost.
That helps a lot to boost the technology even faster.
Yeah.
And it is dominated by men.
Yeah.
Because most gamers are men.
Yeah.
So that's why everybody on YouTube watching gaming stuff now, they've got new games coming out with all these sexy, hot girls.
But they were always like that. They were always sexy. They were always hot. They were always very voluptuous.
No, it's a new level now.
But it's more now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's becoming more realism.
Yeah.
more real, more believable. So that's also pushing the agenda as well. With the digital identity, I don't know, hold on to your hats when that fully implements.
Yeah, I don't know what we can do for people who are like us. I guess, like you always say, we just have to manage and navigate the best way we can.
The best way to stop people like us from not moving forward with what they want is just the money thing. Like, you don't want to do as you're told and get your identity. You can't get a job. Done.
They did say that a lot of people have chosen to be here to experience it. But like you said, there will be a lot of people that would choose not to be here anymore.
Yeah, they've come here for a time frame to experience whatever they need to experience. And it's like, okay, I'm done now. And that would be more also the older generation.
Because
they're coming to a point where they are about to move on.
Yeah, because they just, that their soul has like, okay, well, I'm going to be born in this era, this age.
If there is a choice, yeah.
If there is a choice, even though they say there is a choice, but, you know, there might not be. But, yeah, the older generation would be born in that era, that age, that group, where now they've gotten to a point where they get to, you know, they've gotten to an age where they may not need to be here anymore. But then there's the ones like us who are kind of stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
I think it's more our age group who is stuck in the middle that will be deciding what to do.
Interesting. It's going to be really interesting in the next. I'm looking at it now just in weeks with what's playing out. Like, yeah, it's like sped up so much, even since the last podcast on the AI that we talked about.
Yeah,
it's
it
even sped up
has.
since then.
It has. And that was not that long ago. That could have just been a year, I think, which is actually not that long ago.
No.
Oh, no, because we've done a couple, actually. We've done a few. The very first one that we did.
Yeah, we did Cherry 2000.
Yeah, and we
did
did Cherry 2000 actually wasn't that long ago.
No.
That was like a few months ago.
So that's how fast things are going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Madness. Yeah. The little tech guru, the tech nerd in me is excited at the same time. There's a part of me that's really excited like everybody else.
Because I think the part of you that is excited because there's a part of you that looks at it as from a perspective of balance, whereas the part of me that is like no is the part of me that knows what has played out in the before.
Yeah, and that's the part that's always just like, you know what's going to play out. You've experienced it.
Yeah, because like I said, when I was discussing with the soul group, when you were talking about coding, I literally got coding in my head and got told you can do this. And I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah, but that's a choice.
You
won't need to. You just get chat to do it for you.
No, I know that, but that I'm talking about from our different perceptions where I think you come from a very balanced perception of it, whereas you haven't experienced, maybe you experienced the more balanced side of things with AI where I haven't experienced that, you know, in different lifetimes.
Yeah, very bloody interesting, baby.
But the digital ID, unfortunately, has passed here in Australia, and
it will be a shit show.
Those of you who are on the similar bandwagon as with us, I just hope that you are able to navigate through this the best way you can.
And I'm also we will be doing more podcast shows on this digital identity that's playing out here and what happens and what it's like. And because if nobody else around the world is really doing this, that will be a heads up for them. So that will be helpful for them in the future. And yeah,
I don't think it's going to change, to be honest. Not unless, like you said, everyone gets together and they decide.
Yeah.
And exactly what the soul group have also said, you know, unless humanity get to a level where they realise that a balance is more what is needed, which looks like it's not geared for that at the moment. It is geared for
deep dive into it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I guess I'm getting on a level because as soon as you say that, I get, you know, people actually deep diving into the ocean. They don't know what's down there until they actually
No.
they're like, I had no idea that this creature lurked in the deep and that creature lurked in that deep. And
Yeah, it's all AI. Because there's a positive aspect to AI
Yeah.
and there's a negative aspect of AI because we're living in a duality.
yeah,
So there's always going to be two parts playing out.
yeah. But I feel from where you're coming from, you're able to see the positive aspect of it.
I feel because I'm more naive and I haven't had the same experience as what you've had.
Yeah, I know the negative side effect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not in fear. I'm in like the digital stuff, identity completely different. But new AI tools and support, great.
See, for me, I'm not on the same. The digital ID for me is the same as you. It's like that. I don't agree with that. But then at the same time with AI, I don't agree with that either. Not the level of AI that it could be heading towards.
It's going to be big.
Oh, that's right. They also touched on, because I asked them about being illegal to be human. Yeah, they said that is a possible
Okay.
timeline as well. They reckon they did say 20 years, but that does change because years change, time changes, It could be quicker, it could be longer, but, that's a possibility too, to be illegal to be human.
Okay, so what does everybody think about this conversation? What do you think about our new identity, digital identity? Are you happy with that? Are you excited about that? Can you not wait to have it in your country? Are you looking forward to a social score?
I don't understand why you'd want to be having all that stuff in one system. Sorry.
Oh, because it's quick, it's easy, it's efficient.
Oh, and also someone said, when it comes out or whatever you were
Save time.
whatever you were watching yesterday, it was about having one password. So it's more efficient.
Yeah.
Instead of having 500. I like having 500 different passwords.
Well, that's going to go and you're going to have one password forever. Oh, before we go, remember my mother said to me a couple of years ago, she said, just to let you know, Jason, that in the future, you and Alison will have to take a chip. It was a very interesting podcast show.
Very interesting.
And there'll be more to come on this topic, especially with digital identity here in Australia. I want to do more of that in the future to see the progression of it. And also that will come into the AI as well. So interesting.
Which is interesting because I said to you, I kept getting that we're going to be talking about AI robots. And you're like, no, it's digital ID. But then it did unfold into that area and touching with that as well.
Because it's all part of the tapestry. You ready to say goodbye?
Yes, I am.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. You'll see us. You'll hear us in the next one. Love and blessings, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.